85% of a person's success comes from people skills, which is the whole soft skills.
What's the one soft skill professionals must master to stand out in today's job market?
Only one? Okay, so I would say it has to do with your first impression. The way that you enter the room when people first see you, you have 5 to 7 seconds for people to make a decision whether or not they want to do business with you or whether they want to even have a conversation with you. And so
Today I'm joined by Julie Jones, business protocol and etiquette expert, certified trainer with the Protocol School of Washington, and the driving force behind today's professionals consulting. Julie helps individuals and organizations sharpen their soft skills, elevate their presence, and thrive in today's competitive, ever changing world. Today, we'll uncover the essential professional skills that will define success in the years to come. So, hey Jolie, how are you? And welcome to the podcast.
Hi, JobsWala. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you finally. We were, between the, conversation and trying, but now this is the day when we are having it finally, and I'm so excited to speak with you further.
Yes, thank you for your patience.
Thank you. So, before moving further into the conversation, um, could you tell us about what is your story, about your story?
Oh gosh. So I used to be a teacher. I taught fifth, sixth, and seventh grade math for 15 years. I was also an administrator in the private schools here in Texas. And what I found is that students were not ready when they came out of high school and college for the job market. At least that's what the business community kept telling us. So I did some research and I found out that companies hire etiquette consultants to come work with their team members and to help them cross over from school into their career. And they what it was soft skills like in how you show up, your image, how you communicate with people, how you manage your day to day, life. And so this is really important. And the research that I found came out of Harvard University, the Stanford Research Institute, and the Carnegie Foundation, all found that 85% of a person's success comes from people skills, which is the whole soft skills. It's corporate etiquette, it's communication, it's how you get up and run your day every day and how people view you. It's like creating that personal brand that people want to do business with you. And so I went to the Protocol School of Washington and became a certified etiquette consultant and and this was back in 2011, and I've been teaching corporate etiquette and soft skills ever since. And I also then during this time frame 2015 to 2021, I also opened a plumbing company. And I realized at that time that I had to teach all of the people that worked for me all of the soft skills because we had a brand as a company and as owners of a company, and we wanted to teach our team members, our employees, how to represent us when they were wearing our uniform, when they were driving our trucks, when they were communicating with people. They were representing us too. So I got an extra layer of how important it is for companies to train people how to have the image and the communication skills that they need to not only be good for themselves and have the successful life they want, but also how to create a solid company with a great culture and happy customers.
Wonderful story, Julie. And you found out because you were teaching. You were a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really wonderful. Um, what's the one soft skill professionals must master to stand out in today's job market?
Oh, only one? Okay, so I would say it has to do with your first impression. The way that you enter the room when people first see you, you have 5 to 7 seconds for people to make a decision whether or not they want to do business with you or whether they want to even have a conversation with you. And so your image, the way that you show up, and I'm talking about the way that you look and the way that you dress, you must be dressed appropriately for your industry and for your company. But it's also about your nonverbal language, it's your facial expressions, it's your overall presence, it's the tone of voice, it's the smile on your face. Are you approachable? And all of these decisions are made so quickly, and people will literally make a decision within 5 to 7 seconds of meeting you. And so I think that is one thing that we don't emphasize enough is that you only get one chance to make a good first impression.
Very true, very true. And this is where we are too far, especially Gen Zs.
Mhm.
Um, we are losing that kind of era we had. Respect and everything, which is really bad. And non-verbal communication skills and the way we
Mhm.
dress are also very important.
Yes. And what we're seeing with our Gen Zs is that eye contact is something that people are seeking and that our Gen Zs are lacking. I saw an interview, or I'm sorry, a survey that came out about a year ago that said that over half of the managers, hiring managers, were saying that the people could not come into a job interview and have a conversation like this and make eye contact. It was the number one complaint of hiring managers. And so when you are having a conversation with somebody, you have to let them know that you're hearing them. You have to engage in active listening. Eye contact is part of it. And there's also the thing, I don't know if you've heard about it or not, it's called the Gen Z stare. And that is when somebody is talking to somebody and they just look at them. Like it's like the message is, are you kidding me right now? And so there's no interaction, there's no head nodding, there's no smiling, there's no agreement. It's just a stare. And that is so frustrating to hiring managers and people who are working in teams when there's somebody in there who doesn't really understand the importance of interaction. And so that's been something that's, been a big complaint that I've heard and seen in my research and in my studies.
Exactly, Julie, exactly. And most of the people blame mobile phones and electronic
Yeah.
devices, laptops, and such accessories that because we are too much in all this stuff.
Yeah.
Few days back, a person, a boy, 16-year-old boy, committed suicide because of maybe the overuse of
Yeah.
ChatGPT and
I
something
heard
like
that.
that. So, what would you say about it? Yeah.
So, okay, this is so important because technology and in particular artificial intelligence (AI) is making our world easier. It is really speeding up things. It's we can get online and schedule appointments. You can even schedule a plumber now through an AI bot. You don't have to talk to anybody. And while that is very convenient, the downside to that is we're losing the actual interaction, which in my world, AI stands for actual interaction. And so what that means is people are struggling. And I've heard that Gen Zs are having to get coaching to pick up a phone to make an appointment, say to a dentist or a doctor. It stresses them out and they would rather talk to a bot. And the tragic story that you just mentioned about the young man who committed suicide because he was having a conversation with a computer, with his AI chatbot. And don't get me wrong, I use AI every day. I mean, it is my research assistant, it's my content creator. It helps me come up with ideas, it's brainstorming and things like that. But ultimately, what I understand is it's a machine. But we've gotten so used to it that we actually have conversations with it and we've become isolated. And I feel like that is really taking our society down a path where we're not interacting with people. And the downside of that is we were created to interact. We were not created to be in isolation. And so we need to remember that these human interaction soft skills that I'm talking about today, that you and I are talking about, are really important. And people who master them are going to see themselves really skyrocketing in life and in career because this is what people are looking for.
Wonderful, Julie. So how does your AIM method, attitude, image, self management, help professionals thrive in a digital first world?
Yeah. So I created AIM over the 12 years that I've been teaching what I call corporate etiquette, which really evolved into soft skills. And so AIM is the attitude and mindset of how you show up. You know, what you think about, you bring about. So every day when you think, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve that job, or you show up as, I'm going to get paid, I'm going to get what's due me, and then I'm out of here. That mindset really determines your future. So what I teach people is to how to have a mindset of how do you see yourself, and then also don't forget that you're serving others, whether you're serving a team on your company, whether you're serving a community, whether you're serving your family, it's about service. So the mindset is really important because what you think about, you bring about. The I in AIM is about your image. And we're talking about your presence, your overall presence, how other people see you, the first impression. Are you trustworthy? Can you be depended on to go out and take a client to lunch and represent the company well? Can you communicate? Can you address problems without blaming other people or without being too much of a people pleaser? Like, what's the balance? We talk about charisma being on a scale of warmth and competence, right? If you're too warm, people don't see you as competent. But if you're too competent, then people see you as cold. You're really smart, but you're cold. So if you want to have that balance where they trust you, you have to know where you are on that scale and where you need to slide. We also talk about the platinum rule. Are you self-aware and do you have the emotional intelligence to meet people where they are? And the platinum rule means treat others the way they want to be treated. Meaning, if they need bullet points, you have the awareness to say, I'm just going to keep this short so that they can go on with their day. If they need human interaction, you'll give them the time that they need at the beginning of a meeting to talk, and you'll give them that space to warm up because they need the human interaction. But you have to have the awareness of that. You have to know your audience. So you have to know how you communicate, and then you have to be able to adjust to whoever's sitting next to you. So communication is part of that image. And then the M is how do you manage yourself? What routines and processes do you have in your life that help you govern your life? And I always say, start with your home. How are you managing your day to day life? Because how you manage anything is how you manage everything. And so if your home is in disarray, then probably your life is in disarray, meaning that when doors open, if they do, then you won't be able to handle it because you're in chaos. So get control of it. Be the CEO of your life and be in control. You have to be a person that makes life happen rather than lets life happen. And so that's the determiner. The determining factor is how do you manage your life? And so that's how I teach the AIM methodology.
Wonderful, Julie. And I see a lot of people have different kind of skill set,
Mhm.
like the most high ranking skill set, but they're still very
Yeah,
unsuccessful. They still don't see couldn't find any client for their
yeah,
work. Why? Because of they don't have these fundamentals you were talking
yeah,
about.
100%.
So sometimes it happens we don't have anything, but we have a better communication style. We have all these fundamentals. So sometimes these things becomes the source for our
Mhm.
success, but we don't have any other thing. Are you agree with
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. You're right because the smartest person or the person who has the skill set, say the best engineer, the best architect, the best accountant is not always the boss. Because there has to be the influence factor, that charisma factor where people will want to follow you. And sometimes being really smart and good at your job does not equate to being the leader, the visionary, the person who can create the vision and get the people on board to follow that vision. And that makes the difference. And it's the people skills that make the difference there. You're 100% on spot on with that.
Exactly. um so what's the biggest misconception people have about etiquette in modern
Hmm.
business?
That etiquette is outdated. That's something that we did in the 1900s. It's not relevant in the 21st century, but it is because etiquette is rooted and grounded in respect for others. That's what it is. It is caring about yourself enough to know how to show up for others, how to have an image of someone who is classy and trustworthy rather than someone who just shows up the way they want to and doesn't care about how they're coming across. It is rooted in respect. And those people who understand this concept are the ones who are successful. They're the leaders.
Exactly, I'm totally agreed with you. So can you share one real example where soft skills changed someone's career path?
Oh, gosh. Yes, I can. I used to have a boss who was really hardcore, set in his ways. And this is the way I do things. He was the leader, he was the manager. He'd worked hard for getting to where he wanted to be. And he was very much a person who was a top down driver. This is what I say, do it. And so what he found was while he was really good at his job, he didn't have the people skills. And so he couldn't keep team members. He was a revolving door because people don't leave jobs, they leave managers, right? And so he was a manager that no one wanted. As a result, he would always end up getting fired and he was always having to search for a new job. And he would justify that by saying, I'm going to leave this job, but I'm going to get a new one that pays more money. But what he ended up finding as he started growing in his career and he started realizing that really the way he is not the way other people are, and that his lack of having longevity in the job and having relationships where people trusted him was because of him. He had to look in the mirror and say, I'm the common denominator. And that's very difficult to do, but that is really the essence of creating your life. And so he looked in the mirror and he started getting coaching and he started studying soft skills. He started reading about emotional intelligence and he started realizing that maybe he wasn't the best person to manage the team. He needed to find a different role in his company. And he did. And he is hugely successful today. People really like him. They like working with him. And it is all because he had the self awareness to make the changes he needed in his life. Because if you want to change your life, you start by changing you. And so you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. And so that was one example that I love to share about somebody that I knew a long time ago And now when I see him thriving, I'm just so excited for him.
Wonderful story. Like the thing we were talking about before, people have a lot of skills, but they don't have these fundamentals, so they are, you know, very struggling. And it is also very difficult to get self-awareness about what we are where we are lagging at. So he ended up having that
Self awareness.
self-awareness
Hmm.
which he didn't
Yeah.
have. Yeah,
It's so true. Emotional intelligence really creates the confidence that someone needs to really go after their goals, because it's not about us. If you really want to be successful, you have to be able to work with others. And so, and with Dale Carnegie, if you look at all the people who are successful and thought leaders in this life, Dale Carnegie, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, they all talk about how do you develop this self-esteem and awareness to be able to reach others. And I really think that following, I mean, this is not new. It's not a new concept. It's tried and true, and it's been this way forever throughout history.
exactly. Wonderful. How should Gen Z professionals adopt their communication style for leadership roles?
Said that one more time. How did they what?
How should Gen Z professionals adopt their communication style for leadership roles?
Well, I think they have to study. I mean, I'm a firm believer that if we want to improve skills, we need mentors, we need leaders, we need coaches. If you look at, I mean, experience is going to help, right? I mean, over time you grow and you get better, and because you learn by, oh, maybe I blew that conversation, I'll do something different next time. So I think that's really important, but having a mentor at your work, hiring a coach, you know, high performance athletes have several coaches. They have a coach like for their team, and then they have a coach for their position, and then they might have a strength coach, and then they might have a nutrition coach, and then they might have a mindset coach. Because what we know is that if you want to fine tune any skill, you got to have help. You got to have somebody who's been there before, who has learned the lessons, and that you can learn from. And so I feel like, really diving into books. There's so many great books out there. My book is actually coming out next month. It's called The Presence Effect, and it's about influencing others, influencing the outcome by the way you show up. And so I believe that studying and reading books, listening to podcasts, much like yours, are things that we need to consume information that helps us grow.
Exactly, totally agreed with you. And I would highly recommend you read this book. And I'm so excited for this, because this is the thing which world needs today. This is really important. We all are struggling with that somehow, at some places, and we are actually, searching for many people. So at that time when we find someone like Julie, so we have to be really, caring of these people like Julie Chu, who are really mentoring people about these
Yeah.
stuff. So congratulations,
Thank
Julie,
you.
for your book.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Now coming to my favorite part of the conversation, which is about podcasts. You have your podcast, Today's Professionals. And first of all, how did you decided your podcast name?
Well, the company name is Today's Professionals. My podcast is called It's How You'll Be Remembered. And the reason that I named it that is because years ago when I started corporate etiquette, I always said it's not just etiquette, it's how you'll be remembered. And so then as I changed it, and became more soft skills, it's still about how you'll be remembered. And the reason that I named my company Today's Professionals, which I rebranded in 2022 from just an etiquette company into Today's Professionals, the reason that I named it that is because people always asked about etiquette. And isn't it old fashioned? Isn't it outdated? And I wanted to let people know that what we do at Today's Professionals, what we do when we work with clients, when we go into companies and we teach, corporate etiquette, or when we teach soft skills, or when I'm on stage speaking, when I'm traveling and talking about leadership skills, it's current information. It's about today's professionals. It's about being up to date and leading in today's times. And so that's how I came up with those names.
It is so humorized, and so unique name as well. Um, so what was your reason behind starting your podcast? What was in your mind?
Well, um, are you talking about the company name or the podcast?
The podcast.
So I actually wanted a way to get my message out there. And I know that people listen to podcasts and they watch videos. People go to YouTube to search for information that they want, whatever it is. It's a search engine, right? And so one of the top reasons people go to YouTube is to find ways that they can improve. Like, how can I improve communication skills? How can I get a promotion? How can I get what I want in life? How can I be successful? That's one of the things that people are searching on. I mean, they search a lot of things on YouTube, right? But this is what, in my area, this is what people are looking for. And so I wanted to start a podcast where because I do a lot of networking and I meet a lot of cool people. And so I thought maybe what I could do is bring people onto my podcast and have these conversations that are real life conversations that talk about how people skills, whether it's communication, whether it's image, whether it's dress, etiquette, whatever it is, we come on and we have a conversation and it's real life experiences with real people. And so it has been hugely successful. We are in our second year of this podcast now, and it has been so much fun.
Wonderful. How many episodes have you recorded?
I haven't counted the episodes because I just do the YouTube, but I would say we're probably into 50 or more.
Wonderful. And you were talking about many, the people who wants to learn something, they go to YouTube. So, like some days ago, there was Teachers Day, and um today I was scrolling through Facebook, and I've gone through from a post, and there was three logos, mentioned in the, or visible in the image. I don't know. Google, ChatGPT, and YouTube. And in the description, it was mentioned that don't forget to wish them on Teachers' Day. So, like today, it is really common. People, you know, go to ChatGPT, go to Google,
Mhm.
YouTube. They don't tell things to their mom and dad, but they tell ChatGPT and
Yeah.
YouTube. So it is becoming more common as the passage of time. Maybe after some years after, it'll be so
Yeah.
common.
Yeah, it is becoming more common that people are going to Google. I mean, I'm getting to the point now, to be honest with you, where if I want to research something, instead of going to Google, I go to AI. I go to ChatGPT, I go to Gemini, and I ask them, ask a question, and I'm getting really, really good at the prompts because to it's about the prompts because it's going to search what it wants, what it thinks it wants, and it's going to start hallucinating and give you information that you don't want. So you have to be very specific, which has really helped me in my communication skills to be directive and to be thorough in what I want. It's helped me in my communication in that area because you don't need to be warm I mean, a lot of people say please and thank you to their AI, but I've learned that I don't need to, that I can be more directive because it doesn't have feelings, you know? And so just this is what I want. And if it doesn't give me what I want, then I'll say, I wasn't clear. Let me give you more information. And then I'll learn to ask it, do you have any questions for me? Do you understand what I'm looking for? And it will ask you questions. Okay, well, I'm not sure about this. And I'm like, this is great. Because it's really all about getting the information in. A computer is information in, information out. And if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And so being able to put good information into AI to get the right information out is a skill set that we're learning. And so this is an area of opportunity where people can teach people how to use AI, how to create those prompts. And there's actually YouTube videos out there that says this is how you create prompts for AI. So it's really kind of cool.
Wonderful. Maybe you can teach us someday.
Well, I'm still learning, but yes, I'll be happy to share whatever I know.
Yeah, exactly. AI is all about
Yes.
prompting. ChatGPT is all about prompting. If we prompt AI correctly, so then we will be having more great
Yeah,
outcomes.
you're right. You're right.
So, looking 5 years ahead, which soft skills will matter most?
I think that we're always going to need face-to-face interaction. I mean, in 5 years from now, AI and technology is going to be even further down the road. I mean, we're already seeing videos where you don't have to make videos. You can just put in videos of yourself and pictures of yourself, and it creates a video of you, right? And so we're already seeing all of that. But at the end of the day, when there are, if you, there's something really important, there's going to come a day where people are tired of dealing with AI. People are tired of dealing with technology, and people are going to crave human interaction. So eye contact, knowing words and tone, how you show up, your nonverbal language, all of that is still going to be important 5 years from now.
Wonderful. Yeah, exactly. We sometimes think that after some years we will not need it face interactions. We can even work with the Zoom meetings and virtual meetings. But as you mentioned, we will be still needed to have face interactions, eye
Yeah.
contact.
Yes. Yes. And when you're on a Zoom call, turn your camera on. I mean, can you imagine if I turned my camera off right now? If I were to turn that off, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, there you go. This is not as effective, right? So you have to be able to turn your camera on because it makes a difference.
Exactly, Julie. How can someone with low confidence start building executive presence?
Mm. That is so hard. I'm actually working with a couple of people right now on this. They're younger people right out of college. And so I always start with you. So I use a tool called the process communication model to teach emotional intelligence. And so if you want to start to build executive presence, you have to start with understanding you. Start by understanding what your strengths are and what your emotional and psychological needs are. And how do you respond when those needs are not met? So, for instance, when we start going into distress because our needs are not being met, maybe we have a boss who's very competent, much like the boss I told you about that was very top down. And I'm a person who needs interaction. I need to feel like I'm loved, right? I need to feel like you're glad I'm on your team, right? And I don't get that, I'm going to leave because I'm going to start going into distress. And the way we respond when we go into stress is different. Sometimes we go into, if it's I'm okay, you're okay, we can have conversations, things are great. But if we go into a conversation where I'm not feeling loved and valued in my team, and I feel like you don't like me, then I might go into, I'm not okay, but you are. You are okay. And then I start to over people please. And that creates all kinds of different problems. And I become a doormat and people don't see me as competent. Remember, I could be too warm on that competence scale because I'm now in people pleasing mode because I'm in distress. But I could also go into, I'm okay, but you're not. So now I'm on the cold side of that charisma scale. And I'm like, look, I'm right. I'm doing it right. What's wrong with you? And then I start to blame. Well, we didn't meet this deadline because you didn't do your part, or and then we become kind of like Teflon, like nothing sticks to us. And now people don't like me because I'm not approachable and I always blame people. And so we have to realize when we go into these different distress modes, there's a final distress mode, which is I'm not okay and you're not okay. And this is really can be dangerous where we might need people to help us out. For instance, the 16-year-old that you mentioned earlier in this podcast that was talking to Chat GPT and ended up committing suicide. It's a tragedy. But what happened was he was at the lowest of the low, probably in a I'm not okay and no one else is okay. And what he was asking Chat GPT was feeding that, and it led to a loss of life. Tragic. So we have to understand ourselves. And once we begin to peel back the layers and understand what our needs are, how we respond when our emotional needs are not being met, and then how to pull ourselves out of distress, we become more confident. The second part of that, and this is emotional intelligence, now I understand myself, and now I can start seeing in other people how they're responding in distress, and I know how to meet their needs. So then I can pull not only myself, but other people up back into a I'm okay, you're okay conversation where real communication happens. And so I think understanding yourself is the first step in building that confidence.
Exactly. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. If you had to give one piece of timeless advice for thriving in the future of work, what would it be?
One piece of advice for what? So you cut out. I don't know if it's me or you, but somehow we're cutting out. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, sure.
I can't hear you.
If you had to give one piece of
Okay, there you go.
timeless advice for thriving in the future of work, what would it be? Can you hear me?
Yes, for jobs in the future. One piece of advice for jobs in the future. Is that right?
Um, I don't know what is happening. Did you heard the question,
Well,
or should I repeat?
no. Yes.
Okay. If you had to give one piece of timeless advice for thriving in the future of work, what would it be?
I would say be open to learning. Never stop learning new skills. Embrace change. Embrace conflict because conflict done correctly solves problems and creates growth. So be open and never stop learning, never stop improving your communication skills, and keep going because life changes and we have to change with it.
Such amazing advice. And again, Julie, your work is the kind of work we need today. We are mostly struggling at communication, at non-verbal communication, and even with the style, with the dress we used to wear, because most of us don't know how to wear and what to wear in what kind of event.
Yep.
So these all are fundamentals, which is really important in our life. So thank you so much, Julie, for turning on and for sharing all the insights with my listeners, with Gen Zs. And you know and I'm also very excited for your book. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
guys, for watching and listening to the podcast. Inshallah, meet you soon with another amazing podcast with another amazing guest.